Now, if you make a claim, but yeah, the whole world says differently, are you crazy or are they crazy? Well, today we have here the Subaru Crosstrek. Subaru says this is the brand new Crosstrek, but what does it really take to be different? Let's find out. Today's episode is made possible by Sgcarmart Smart Loan. Sgcarmart Smart Loan is designed to save you time and money through a digitalized loan application via MyInfo for your used car purchase at below market interest rates. For a limited time only, get $500 cashback and a 6 months Kinto membership worth $1,200 when you apply for a loan today. To find out how much money you'll save when buying a used personal or private hire car, click on the link in the description below. But now let's go back to the review. Now, if there's one thing that we can all agree on, this is now the successor to the XV in this market and all other markets. This is now powered by a 2-litre mild hybrid 48-volt power plant that Subaru says is exclusive to Singapore and Singapore only. This facelift also gives it sharper, more angular looks, which I really like. It gives it a little bit more character, makes it look more dashing. You are also going to get more trim down here with its textured black plastic, because after all, it is meant to be an off-roader. And it is the cheapest off-roader you can find, excusing the Suzuki Jimny. So this is the cheapest 5-seater off-roader in the market. Now, on this singular trim of the Subaru Crosstrek, you're going to find 18-inch rims. Subaru says that this Crosstrek uses all entirely different panels compared to the XV. How different they are, well, I'm not too sure, but what's similar is this BOXER badge that you also first see on the Subaru Forester GT Edition 2.0-litre Eyesight BOXER mild hybrid. Now, onto the rear. Now, moving on to the rear of the Subaru Crosstrek. This color is called Offshore Blue Metallic, and I actually really like this. You don't really see this color on any other car that comes as standard. And then along with these sharp little lights, they give it very fierce. Kind of reminds me of like the FK8 Civic Type R. Open up the boot though, you're gonna get a power tailgate with 315 litres. Now, 315 litres may not particularly be something to shout about, but that's kind of because they have a good reason for it. This is a mild hybrid system. After all, so the mild hybrid battery lives underneath this compartment. You do get a little bit of a compartment right here, but unfortunately, this will not pass the anti-trolley length test. If you put it like this, it is going to miss it by quite a bit, but fear not, you're still going to be able to put the trolley as well as the anti-luggage in the back, and it comes with a tonneau cover. So if nothing, there's a light there as well. Now let's check out the inside. The Subaru Crosstrek is priced from $178,000 to $181,000. The 2-litre 4-cylinder engine produces 148 brake horsepower and 196 Nm of torque. The simulated 7-speed CVT transmission brings the car from 0 to 100 km per hour in 10.5 seconds. The Subaru Crosstrek has a claimed fuel consumption figure of 14 km per litre. For more details on the Subaru Crosstrek or any other car, head on to sgcarmart.com to help you make the smart choice on your next car. Now, over in the rear of the Crosstrek, you can see the aperture was rather small coming into the car. This is my head space. I'm about 1.75 meters tall, but leg space is a lot more generous than my head space. In fact, at least there's the headrest here to kind of keep you in a more comfortable position, but it is rather kind of, it is a little niggling feeling that's always going to be there. In terms of amenities, you're going to get magazine holders here, USB-A and USB-C fast charging, so power is not going to be an issue. And if there's nobody in the middle, you can pull down this middle armrest for a little seating position better for you on long trips, or putting your things like your phones or cups here for a nice longer drive. However, if there are 3 in the middle, let's see how that feels like. Now, because there is a transmission tunnel and it's rather high, you're not going to be able to put your feet up like this. So your feet are probably going to be like this, and then you are going to be eating into the seats of your friend on the left and on the right, and then you're not going to... In fact, my view right here, right now, is already off the roof of the car. So for long trips, probably best left for 4 people. Now let's check out the front. Now, over by the front of the Subaru Crosstrek, I like how things are. They're not super premium lush, but I like how they feel rather solid. Like the steering wheel, the buttons here, they feel really well put together and they feel really good in the hands. Right here, you have pedal shifters for your CVT, Lineartronic CVT. Subaru says that this generation of CVT promises better fuel economy as well as slightly better power. Now your instruments are going to be purely analog with a little LED LCD panel in the middle. With this new 11.6-inch system, the design is a little bit dated, but what is not dated, however, is the wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity. So, you know, this main portion of the screen is going to be filled with the Android Auto UI. So that's not really too big of an issue to me. Interestingly enough, you have your brake auto hold right here, as well as your vehicle dynamics control. So they aren't going to be physical switches, but rather on screen here, and everything else is going to be your Android Auto, your Waze, Spotify. The design of this, it integrates together with your aircon controls, your volume knobs. While not the nicest design, I can tell you I honestly appreciate physical buttons, having to press these rather than the touchscreen ones that you find in certain other models right now. And this here, I believe it is the eye sensor to detect whether or not you're looking on the road. And we've tested it just now. When your eyes are off the road and you're still in motion, the car will beep and alert you, hey, pay attention, you know, look at the road. Another thing that's interesting is the Eyesight system indicator. It's kind of like a heads-up display. Up here, they have a row of lights, and it detects and it alerts you if you're straying out of your lane or if you're coming up to a collision up front. These things will flash in either amber or red to let you know that, you know, something's gonna happen. So keep your eyes on the road. Which I think I like these because they're very subtle. They're very subtle notifications that let you know. They don't come in too harshly, and they still let you know what you need to see. Now you move down here, a very regular gear shift with a gloss black finish. You have an electronic park brake as well as a view for your camera, which I appreciate this one. When you turn on your left signal, it'll switch to your left side camera. So this is really useful for navigating around the bends. You also have a 360 view camera right here, and of course your reverse camera. Moving down here, you have 2 slots for cup holders. Interestingly, a cubby hole here, but no wireless charging. Down here, you have an openable cubby space, a 12-volt charging system here, and that's about it. But I also like the finish. This kind of finish in the car, this carbon fiber-ish looking material, gives it a little bit more character. It is a Crosstrek after all. So one of the main draws about the Crosstrek versus its competitors is that this car is off-road ready. So if you're looking for your X mode, which you can find on Subaru models, you can click here and you can control what kind of traction you want, whether you're going on deep snow, mud, snow or dirt, or of course normal. So if it's a really heavy rain situation, maybe a mud or a snow traction setting will give you more confidence while you're driving. But most of the time, are you going to use it in Singapore? Probably not. But useful for other markets. Now, does this car drive as well as it looks? One way to find out. So driving the Subaru Crosstrek, what does it feel like? Well, it feels rather mild. It's very pliant, it's very comfortable, and it actually feels really, it's of course not as giving as the Subaru Forester, but a good amount of control, but it's soft and very comfortable. I have to point that out. It's actually very, very comfortable. I feel very relaxed driving this. The steering is a little bit on the soft side. It's powered by a 2-litre naturally aspirated BOXER mild hybrid, giving it some, on paper, 14 kilometers per litre. I would like to tell you the real world consumption, but because this car currently it's only on 218 kilometers, it hasn't been properly run in yet, so it's hard for me to really tell you a realistic fuel consumption, because right now I'm seeing, and this is just purely not an accurate number, it's 26 liters per 100 km, but that just happens with cars that haven't been run in. So I really can't give you an accurate figure to go about on. But knowing the BOXER from the Forester, I expect this to be maybe somewhere in 11-12 km per litre, but that's just speculation. Anyway, it's running its Lineartronic CVT, which Subaru claims more power, more fuel efficiency, which is the aim, right? And I appreciate that they do give pedal shifters, so downshift here, downshift. Instantly you're pulling more revs, you can overtake very easily, and then going onto lane 1 is no problem at all. There's enough verve, enough power in that 147 brake horsepower, so it's enough. And after all, when you're driving this, you really feel like it's meant to be taken off into the off-roads. Where else can you go off-road in Singapore? But you're still gonna see your acceleration pedal stepping meter here. You're gonna see your angle here, your roll, and It's a very Subaru thing, the off-road driving, the all-wheel drive system. So if you like that, this is definitely the car for you. Other than that, in this generation, you're also going to be reminded of its safety because it does come with the upgraded Eyesight 4.0, using more cameras to keep you safer. So I've accidentally triggered many of the things that are supposed to keep you safe here. Let's say we are drifting into another lane. There we go, that's the lane departure warning. And not just on the screen right here, it also has a little bit of a heads-up display, just little signal indicators right there that flash, and when it flashes, it's on the windscreen as well. So you see the warning come up, and a little beep as well to tell you that, hey, you're drifting in your lanes. And then blind spot monitors on the side of the mirrors. The heads-up display lights in front also do double up as your front collision avoidance, or rather front collision warning. They light up and flash in red when they detect that you are going to crash into something. And I believe this comes with an emergency stop. So everything is rather safe. It's a very beginner-friendly car, not too punishing, it's not too harsh, it's very comfortable. The noise, I do hear a little bit of noise coming from the outside, but I think for a car of this category, it's acceptable. Vibration, I don't really feel much. I feel really comfortable in this car. I feel really, well, at peace driving this car. And I can see why. Maybe if you like a little bit of a off-roader, ruggedy vibe, this car gives it for you, while still achieving its very, very everyday point A to point B status. So of course, with Eyesight 4.0, you're gonna get all your advanced driver assistance systems, your ADAS. So right now I have active cruise control, I am on lane 2, and it comes with lane keeping assist, so you could do this on a curve and you'll be fine. It's keeping, the LCD is showing me the distance from the car in front. By law, you have to keep your hands on the steering wheel, so if your hands are off the steering wheel for a long time, you're gonna get that alert, which is fine. But things are relatively easy. You can even go into the screen and toggle the amount of acceleration you want when you're using active cruise control, which is fancy. I don't think many other cars come with that. So it's very comfortable. It makes driving an ease, all the more with its Eyesight system. And I especially like using that little heads-up display right there. So now I can see that there's a little green light indicator is on, so that's telling me that this active system is on, because sometimes when they're reading, let's say it's really heavy rain or it's really dark, and if the computer can't read the lines on the road, well, then you don't have your active safety system. One more thing about this XV, which really is, I guess, Subaru's kind of saving grace for this, if you're comparing it to competitors, you're gonna get symmetrical all-wheel drive, especially if you're in cold countries where things freeze over, or if it's raining like right now. Taking a curve, you're not going to be too worried because the car can handle it. So is the Subaru Crosstrek a will buy, won't buy, or go try? Well, if you ask me, I'd say that this car has to be a won't buy. But hear me out before you get your pitchforks. This car is sitting at some 180 to 190,000. It comes really, really close to another car that I find to be quite good, and that's the Subaru Forester. So if you just topped up a little bit more, if you're shelling out this amount of money, and you topped up a little bit more, you could go for the Forester, which is a lot more space. Now, I appreciate a large car, and it's going to give you a lot more utility, a lot more space. The space inside a Subaru Forester is pretty much like a little condominium. The difference between this and that is just slightly different. You're going to get the same powertrain, you're going to get the same safety systems. Subaru has told me that the hybrid system on this one is slightly improved over the one on the Forester, but even on official paper numbers of fuel consumption, I'm not seeing too much of a big difference to say. Let's say if it's like suddenly 20 kilometers per litre, then that would really play a bigger part in the consideration. But thus far, I do think that for that just a little bit money, I would top up, still get the all-wheel drive, but just a lot more space. If you say, not everyone appreciates a big car. Some people prefer smaller, easier to maneuver cars, and then you could get this car instead. If say you're looking at other competitors outside the market, you're gonna be looking at quite a range. But I feel like also this car should be in a Cat A power band if you stuck it with a 1.6 litre, but I believe, if I'm not wrong, they don't have the hybrid system for that 1.6 engine size, so that's bringing in a 2 litre mild hybrid into Singapore. Sticks you with a Cat B, and then it's going up against the Cat B models, so that's where it's kind of, I would pick something else. So that's it, that's our review of the Subaru Crosstrek. What do you think? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Let us know down in the comments below, as well as any other car that you'd like to see us try out. Do leave it in the comments and we'll get to every single one of these. Now, if you've made it this far, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and also hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our future videos. And lastly, don't forget to follow us on TikTok. We are at Sgcarmart. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Bye-bye. And if you've made, and it comes with a 2 litre.